Everyone warned him the creature kills without mercy, so he fed it a sandwich. The warning came through the ship's comm system in 17 different languages, each translation more dire than the last. Captain Marcus Chen listened to them all, while methodically unwrapping his turkey and Swiss sandwich, the one he'd been saving since their last supply run at Europa Station. "Do not approach the creature," the Ziltharian ambassador's voice crackled through the speakers, her 6 vocal chords creating an unsettling harmony. "It has claimed the lives of 43 beings across 12 species. It shows no mercy, no quarter, no—" Marcus clicked off the comm and took a bite of his sandwich. Through the observation deck's reinforced viewport, he could see the thing that had the entire diplomatic fleet in panic mode. It floated in the vacuum between their ships, a writhing mass of crystalline spines and bioluminescent patches, roughly the size of a small shuttle. Every few minutes it would pulse with an angry red light that made even the most battle-hardened Krathan warriors retreat to their inner hulls. "Sir," came Lieutenant Sarah Kim's voice behind him, "the alien delegations are requesting immediate retreat. They say we're all in grave danger." Marcus chewed thoughtfully. The creature, designation X-47 according to the scientists, had appeared 3 days ago during what was supposed to be a routine first contact summit with the hegemony of distant suns. Since then, it had destroyed 2 research drones, disabled a Krathan warship's weapons array, and sent half the fleet into what could only be described as controlled panic. "Have we tried communicating with it?" Marcus asked. "Every method we know, sir. Mathematical sequences, prime numbers, pictograms, even musical patterns. It responds to everything with violent aggression." Marcus nodded and walked to the viewport, sandwich still in hand. The creature pulsed again, its spines extending like an angry porcupine. He'd seen that kind of defensive posturing before, not in space, but back home. In the animal shelters where he'd volunteered as a kid. In the feral cats that lived behind his apartment building in New Angeles. "Sir, what are you doing?" Kim's voice carried a note of alarm as Marcus moved toward the airlock, getting a closer look. He sealed his sandwich in a preservation pouch and attached it to his EVA suit's utility belt. "Captain, I really don't think—" "Lieutenant?" Marcus turned to face her as he pulled on his helmet. "Has anyone considered that maybe it's not trying to kill us? Sir, it's destroyed everything that's approached it. Drones and weapons, Kim. Metal and circuits." Marcus activated his suit's life support systems. "But what if it's just scared?" The lieutenant's expression suggested she thought her captain had finally snapped. "Scared, sir? Think about it. This thing appears in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by massive alien ships full of beings it's never seen before. Every time it shows any sign of life, someone sends a probe or a scanner in its direction. If I were lost and confused, and everyone kept pointing guns at me, I might get a little defensive too." Marcus cycled through the airlock before Kim could voice any more objections. The diplomatic fleet watched in stunned silence as the human captain jetted slowly toward the creature. No weapons, no escorts, no protective barriers between him and certain death. The creature noticed him immediately. Its bioluminescent patches flared bright orange, a color none of the xenobiologists had seen before. The crystalline spines rippled in what looked like waves, and it began moving toward him with predatory grace. Marcus stopped about 50 meters away and held up his hands, palms open. The creature paused, its light shifting from orange to a cautious yellow-green. They regarded each other in the starlight for several minutes. "Easy there," Marcus said into his comm, knowing the creature couldn't hear him but hoping his tone might somehow translate through his body language. "Nobody's going to hurt you." Slowly, very slowly, he reached for his utility belt and retrieved the preservation pouch. The creature's spines bristled, but it didn't attack. Marcus opened the pouch and held up his sandwich. Turkey, Swiss, lettuce, tomato, and mustard on whole grain bread. The most mundane thing in this entire cosmic situation. The creature's lights shifted through a spectrum of colors Marcus was sure had never been catalogued. It drifted closer, its spines retracting slightly. When it was close enough to touch, Marcus gently released the sandwich into the vacuum between them. What happened next would be debated in xenobiology journals for decades. The creature extended what could only be described as a feeding appendage, something that had remained hidden beneath its spines until now. The appendage was surprisingly delicate, almost tentacle-like, and it carefully gathered the sandwich with movements that seemed almost reverent. As it fed, the creature's aggressive red coloration faded to a soft, warm blue. Its spines retracted, completely, revealing a form that was far more beautiful than terrifying, like a living constellation of gentle lights and flowing curves. "Captain," Kim's voice crackled through his calm. "It's singing." She was right. A complex harmonic pattern was resonating through the local space, picked up by every ship's sensors. It wasn't threatening or aggressive. It was beautiful, almost like a lullaby. Marcus smiled inside his helmet. "Control, this is Captain Chen. Begin peaceful contact protocols. And somebody get the kitchen to prepare a few more sandwiches. I think our new friend might be hungry." The Zeltharian ambassador's voice cut through the comm channel, incredulous. "Captain, how did you know?" Marcus watched the creature, now glowing with contentment, as it finished the last crumb of his lunch. Sometimes the scariest-looking things are just scared themselves, and everything gets a little less frightening on a full stomach. As the diplomatic fleet began their first true peaceful contact with an unknown species, Marcus couldn't help but chuckle. Out of all the advanced technology, sophisticated translation protocols, and military might assembled in this sector of space, it had taken a simple sandwich to bridge the gap between fear and understanding. Humanity's greatest weapon, he mused, might just be their willingness to share lunch with a stranger. The creature sang again, and this time the song sounded like gratitude.